Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brief, well, probably not going to be brief video on some lighting ideas for use in the Nether using mostly just these blocks. I've separated them into their different respective colors, and also during this I've realized that we mostly only have yellowish, red, and orange, and blue lights in Minecraft. We really don't have that much of a variety of different colors. But still, anyways, I'll be going through some of the designs I've made. And if you like any of them, feel free to pause the video and use it as a reference to make your own. And if you have any more ideas, don't be afraid to share them. The more the merrier. This is my idea of just like a tiny little forge in the Nether, just kind of a random stack of blocks. But you do get a nice grate effect from the new trapdoors, which work in really either regard, whether or not you're using the warped ones or the crimson. So these here just have shroom lights on the top and bottom. You can really, I guess, insert whatever color glass you want in here to give it that color backlight. Here's something that I use in some of my builds, which is a lava catcher. So we get all of the different lava flows down from the ceiling, and this makes it a little more interesting when it hits the ground instead of just pooling out. If you want to add leaves to some of the new nether trees, it is a nice way to hide shroom lights if you don't like how they look. There's a shroom light in each of these trees. There's one, I guess, in the bottom there, which you can't really see. There's one up there. It's kind of hidden, but they still look nice, and it's just a different way to get light in your area without having to try to see it or make it look nice. You just kind of hide it away. This is just a gate slash hallway. Another use of lava and lava catchers. So you could drop the lava source down here, or you could have it come all the way down from the ceiling for a more larger than life grand effect, if you will. These are just separated by different blackstone walls. I do really, really love the new blackstone blocks. At this point, they're not that new, but I mean, I delayed in making the video a bit. Also, we have some different path designs in the middle, in case you're interested. Just something going on. They're not too interesting until we get to the end. This is something that I thought was a pretty cool idea, is just incursions of either the crimson into the warped area or the warped area into the crimson. The sea stone lanterns go absolutely perfectly with this. And these can just be put in the different biomes, just kind of like dripping effects where it's kind of bleeding over, where you can kind of consider them to be fighting each other. And this one just has redstone lamps behind trapdoors. As far as lighting goes, you can also put it behind glass if you like how that looks. If you don't, then put it behind trapdoors, or I guess use some other lighting. Here are some different ground lights. It's really simple to just make cages. This is one of my favorite things about the trapdoors, is that they have holes in them so you can have them be nice aesthetic lighting. You can also, of course, completely cover it up, and this will still produce light through it since the trapdoors are see-through, but it is nice to get the look of the flames through it. You can also put in campfires, and smoke will still come out of the top, just not as much. It does kind of bunch up a little bit, but it does ultimately come out. Here's just another lamppost. We got a lot of lampposts to go through here. This is my idea of a shroom light battery bank. And to go with this battery bank here is a shroom light cable. So this would be more for a very large build if you want to see like power going throughout a nether city. These giant cables here are one way that you could say that the power goes through everything. Of course, it looks relatively similar top and bottom. We can't do the walls over here, but I think this also pretty nice on the top. Here's just a covered walkway, again with the Shroom light power. You could throw in redstone lamps or sea stone lanterns if you want for, I guess, a different kind of feel, or lava. Just an idea of having like powered walkways. This is one of my favorite things, and I like doing it over like large lava lakes. This always kind of gives me, I don't know, like one of the Star Wars hallway feels, except it's got some smoke coming through the floor. A very nice effect coming from the fireplaces is that you will get light coming out and this smoky effect. So if you want to use it in an industrial area, you get that kind of smoke coming through the grated floor. This part here is probably the absolutely strangest thing that I've done. See, we got a little a squirmy worm boy right there. We got a larger centipede, which I guess you could throw in. They're just weird additional things that produce light. So we got a blue bat, got a brown bat, and these guys, they don't really go with the Nether theme, but I think they're adorable. They're just bees, and this one's just like a little worker robot. But the end rods fit like absolutely perfectly into the back of them, so you can use them as as lighting as well. And I just think they're adorable. Just have like a lot of little observer bees and robots if you have an industrial area for that. Also, to go with the basalt areas, one easy way to make it so the lava lighting doesn't get overwhelming or dangerous is just throw in some chains, because you can't fall through it when there's only one chain. If you have two chains next to each other, you can go between them, so just be wary of that. But when you have the one chain, it works as a stair when going up and also prevents you from just falling into lava. So you can still have all of the light coming through with that, and you don't have to worry about falling into it and really being safe going up. And from the side, it kind of really blends in with the blocks, so it doesn't stick out a whole ton. Here's just a gold meteor crash site. The glowstone, I've been having a hard time trying to find out how to get the glowstone to really flow with any of the builds. So I don't use it all that much. I also don't really like how the texture looks. But here's just one way of incorporating it into a build. Here's my fleshy rib cage, I guess. We got some tendons left in here. And this is just some redstone lamps below layers of glass and trapdoors, just to give it a little bit of a better way to blend in, because the redstone lamps kind of stick out a ton. And then this is just an interesting way to hide something. You know, got your little base down here. It doesn't have to be barrels, but just a little area sneakily hidden into the floor. It looks kind of fleshy. You can just cover the bone structures that you find in the Nether, or make your own if you want. Here's a small warped house. The blue and kind of purplish red of these blocks is one of my absolute favorite color combinations in the game. We just got some sea stone lanterns in the top, because again, they go with the blue of the warped very well. And of course, you can throw on some lantern. Nothing too crazy on this one. Just giving you a small idea of how to throw some lights in without having them stand out too much. Here we got some shroom light on the braces. Nothing kind of crazy here, but it is a way to get lighting in without just having to throw torches all over the place. Got some more shroom light braces. The roof up here. Got little smoke cage at the top, which is also providing some light. Got it from the back side. We also have a nice little campsite in the back. You can always switch out any of the blue fires with red fires if it suits your aesthetic a little bit more. I love those bees. They're adorable. Got a nice little walkway here. The one thing that I love about this this double house is, for one, it's very fun to get into, going along this vine up inside. But then you actually realize that it has no space within it, and it just looks interesting from the outside. It's way too squished. But I mean, if you're gonna make it, you'd make it bigger yourself. But it looks nice, but it's definitely not practical at all. You can stretch all of the sides of it out, and then it becomes practical. But at this scale, like this up here, this is literally 2 blocks next to each other. There's no room in there. You do get the idea of there being a room, but there is not one. I don't know. I like this one a lot. Got a lot of hanging lights everywhere. Chains and lanterns are kind of, as you can see, a very, very prominent theme among all of these builds. Because for one, they just look really good together. The blackstone and the blue, all the new nether blocks. Just here's my duality gate. We got some smoke coming off the top. The particle effects make it a little more interesting, in my opinion. Got sea stone lanterns on the left. We got lava on the right. You could also throw shroom lights there. We got 1 shroom light at the top just to give it a little more oomph. But it's a nice sort of dual style gate where you could have half a build be warped on the left, half a build be crimson on the right. You kind of get the picture. Here's one of the more unique structures of a hanging lantern that I have. Most of them end up being this T shape. So here's a little more variety. Then we got some different lanterns back here, just to display what it looks like from the ground. That's with the fireplace on top. This is with the fireplace inside of the trapdoors. So on the ground, if it's inside, you really can't see it. This, of course, is a fire on a block of soul sand. So that is clearly sticking out of the top. But yeah, if you put the trapdoors around the flame, you really can't see it at all. So if you want to see it, I would say put it on top. If you don't want to see it, throw it in. If you still want the smoke, then it works just fine. And here's another path for when you get the soul speed. It becomes a very quick walkway. And also you can easily incorporate gates to branching paths within it, since it's somewhat haphazard. Again, going with the duality gate, these duality fences on the sides, I really like this. Of all of the things, even the more complicated ones, this little archway with the 2 different lanterns is probably one of my favorite pieces. Just so you know. Here's another standing light post. It's got a chain incorporated into it to make it really thin and precarious looking. We got another forge over here. This one was shroom light instead of fire. Give you another little idea. Just throw those all over the place, and if a piglin stands next to it, you can just pretend he's a blacksmith. Here are some hanging pieces that you can use just throwing from the top of the nether. They can hang down as far as they need to. Personally, I would say this one is so big that it looks very strange when it just has 1 center pillar. So you might want to throw some extras on there. I will give a slightly closer view of all of these in case you want to build any of them in particular. The boat one I think is funny. I don't know if it would really look good in many builds, but I do think it's interesting. This first of the bone pillars is actually my... Lied. I changed my mind. It's actually this one. This one's my favorite. I do like how that one looks, but this one, it's a bit... This one's a nicer, more chandelier style. Here you go. Again, feel free to pause wherever you want. Take screenshots. just take it as an idea, build off of it, build it exactly if that's what you want to do. Okay, if you want a specific building tutorial, I guess I can make one if you make a request. Otherwise, hopefully the views here are good enough so you know how to create this on your own. That is something you so choose to do. Simplest way to make a hanging light, just throw it down from one pillar. And over here we have my idea of bone windows for a warped build. They give a lot of light because they're end rods. I guess bats kind of like them. Here you go. You can do it vertical, horizontal. I prefer the vertical ones. And a couple more additional lamps hanging off of the build. That one, this one, very simple, but I think achieves probably the best effect of all of them. Just because it's a simple hanging light off the side. It's nothing too grandiose like this. It's a little more in-depth. One thing that you do need to remember is that any of the red lights produce more light than any of the blue light. Here's just a simple way to incorporate some soul lanterns and fire into a nether brick build. Nether brick, I find, is so dark that it needs to be very well lit up. Otherwise, it all just kind of gets lost within itself. Because even all of the variation in here, in all the different depth, it's kind of hard to notice anything other than close up that there are even walls and fences here. Might do well replacing those with blackstone or the nether brick. Also, we do have some redstone lamps kind of hidden away at the bottom. Unless you're up in the air, it's not super noticeable. They just kind of get lost down there beneath all of the foliage. Moving on, this is one of my favorites by far. This is the only one that incorporates a bell. But if you want a cool Hell's Bell tower, here you go. One thing I don't see many other people doing is using the new signposts that much. They make awesome stripes. They go really well with each other. Again, any of the warp blocks go with the crimson blocks just beautifully. I also think that the blackstone works well with both of them. It works better with warped pieces than crimson pieces, but it does go together spectacularly. Be afraid to throw some fire on the roof. You're in the nether. Everything's on fire and is kind of scary, so it should be fun. Just another simple walkway design as well. Switch up the lighting as much as you want to make it not boring. Got another dual color stuff going on there. And this transitions into some slightly more interesting walkway. This is my favorite of the walkways along this whole path. You get a trapdoor here and a wall on top of it, and a tiny bit of smoke comes out. Very infrequently. But on a long walkway, it gives a really, really nice effect because there's always some smoke coming out. That, but just not a lot. So it's always a slightly particle-y walkway. Anyways, without skipping too many things, we'll go back here. This is just a simple graveyard with a tree, which is a nice way to light it up. And of course, some extra lamppost designs. They never have to be too complicated, so don't get too carried away going for something way over the top, you can always go with something quite simple. The tree is a little less simple. Oh. Alright. You can guess who the graves are. I'll give you 1 like on your comment. There you go. Feel free to switch these up and put in whatever flowers or plants you want. There's no requirement on that. Here's some more lanterns. Just to give you an idea of different ways to, I guess, give a different amount of thickness to the posts going up. Different blocks that kind of look nice together. They don't all have to be these 4 branched pieces. Just be simple, straight up vertical lamp. Or single hanging ones, double hanging ones, triple hanging ones. Whatever you want. Here's another idea for a lava catcher. You can really have it flow however you want, just to make it a little more interesting than just having lava pool out on the ground. Post. Here's one that has some more things slightly incorporated into it. If you want to have a brewing stand in the... You got some water here, you got some nether wart being farmed, you can throw some extra brewing supplies in there. But really, all of this is just to show off that. It's just a very nice way to add a light to any building that has warped wood within it. Of course, you could always throw some sea stone lanterns behind those, but in my opinion, the sea stone lanterns blend in the best. Also, throwing a fire under a cauldron is a very subtle way to give some mood lighting. And this, probably the thing that I'm most excited to build in my next world. You throw in the crying obsidian behind purple glass, and it really gives the look of a nether portal. So that way you don't have to make portals. You can make the misshapen portals like this one, or some thinner ones, and it still very much gives the effect of a nether portal. And it looks really good with all of the new bluish teal blocks. That is my absolute favorite color, so I am definitely in love with this look. But yeah, that's it. I'll be making some more. Maybe I'll end up with another video. If something was left out and not made clear, just let me know in the comments, and I will go back and maybe just take a screenshot of it or make a short video flying around it, or a build tutorial if you want. But yeah, these are just some ideas of how to incorporate these lights into your build. If you like the video, you found it helpful, hit the like button, throw down some comments, get that interactivity up so other people can see it. If you didn't like it, I don't understand how you're here at this point listening to this, but dislike it, I guess. Don't share it, don't comment. Just move on with your day and have a good one. Bye for now.